Hi everyone, how are you today? I'm Delicia Alarcón and welcome back to Delilingo. If you haven't subscribed yet to the page, please do so and you'll get great content about study abroad, fellowships, resume writing, cover letter, and anything relating to being a student and also an international student wanting to study in the US. So I have a lot of exciting content coming and I hope to share it with you all very soon. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about study abroad and the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship, which is what I received in 2013 for my spring semester abroad in Spain. And here you'll see a picture of me in Córdoba in Spain on a field trip day, and also here in Plaza de España with my brother who came to visit me during my time there. And today I'm going to talk about the application process specifically for Gilman. However, in the future, I will also do a Fulbright video specifically for Fulbright and also study abroad in general. So where are we going to go today as we talk about Gilman? We're going to talk about who I am, who's Delicia, why am I talking about this, a little journey through my own Gilman application process, and also why I chose Spain, key takeaways from my study abroad experience. And if you have any question and answer, please drop them in the comments throughout the whole presentation and I will answer them as soon as I get them. So please interact with me and chat with me about where you want to study abroad, where you want to go, what are your issues you're having now, and if you did go abroad, where did you go and how did you get there? I would love to hear everyone else's story. So I am Delicia Alarcón. I went to Fairfield University in Connecticut. My family is from Paraguay, and here I am happily representing my culture and my family heritage on graduation day. And during my time at Fairfield, I majored in psychology and Spanish with a minor in educational studies. And here in the PowerPoint, you see my teachers who formed instrumentally in my life and supported me through all of my ideas and my journey and what I wanted to do to study abroad. They helped me through that process. I have Dr. Johnson, Primavera, and Dr. Farrell who really supported me through that journey of study abroad, especially because I wanted to go for a year. So sophomore year, I had this idea that, hey, if it's possible, I want to go for a whole year. And thanks to their mentorship and support, I was able to go to Brisbane, Australia in the fall and Sevilla, Spain in the spring. So a little bit about me, where I have my experiences. I taught in South Carolina as a Spanish teacher for Spanish 1, 2, and 3. Here are my students. And then I transitioned to the University of Scranton, where I worked as a program coordinator and supported multicultural education, multicultural workshops. And then I went back to my alma mater at Fairfield University and worked in Project Excel, TRIO Student Support Services Program, which is a federally funded program to support first-gen low-income and students through their journey and academic experience on campus. So I also, after worked at Fairfield University, I decided to apply for the Fulbright grant. And here you see me with my students in Lavras, Minas Gerais, and me at the orientation seminar in Brazil, Sao Paulo. And that's a whole other story and experience as to why I chose to apply there. And I'll create another video specifically about that. Today, I want to focus on the Gilman. And what do I do today specifically? I am a virtual coach and advisor to students through Delilingo, which is a new venture and project that I started. And I support students with essay writing, applied to colleges, fellowships, grants, one-on-one advising, and I support them with resume, cover letter, and interview preparation. Those are my main areas. I also support students through the SAT, AP Spanish process and application, and also tutoring for that exam. So that's what I'm doing today and really love working with students. Like I mentioned, I studied abroad in Brisbane, Australia in the fall of 2012, which was my junior year in college. And in the spring, I chose to go to Sevilla, Spain. So my story for applying to Sevilla and the Gilman is the mentors I had at Fairfield, specifically the director of Project Excel, which is part of TRIO Student Support Services, said, well, you should apply to this. And actually, my first year, I really didn't listen. I didn't really pay attention because there's so many things happening on campus in your first year of college. And I said, okay, and I tabled it. And then I thought, okay, sophomore year came around and I said, oh, I want to study abroad for a year, so might as well apply to any scholarships. And then when I was in Brisbane, Australia, I remembered that the deadline was due, so I needed to work on the Gilman. And it was tough because I was in a foreign country alone without my mentors on campus. So I did it through emailing and virtually connecting with them. So I did the application, I submitted it, and keep in mind the time difference. So I had to coordinate all of that, make sure that was on track. And I eventually applied for the Gilman Scholarship and I got it. And that really helped me inform my travels for the spring of 2013 and really helped me obviously with money because you need visas, you need plane tickets, you need any materials you need to bring like textbooks and you also want to have money to be able to travel to other cities or other countries. So this grant really supported me through that. So I want to introduce what is the Gilman if you're interested in study abroad, but you may not know what it is. Or if you are applying to the Gilman and you already did the research, good on you. And if you're in the middle and you're not sure and you still want to do some research, I highly recommend going onto their website. They have all the information you need. They have tutorials, they have examples of follow-on projects and essay tips, all of that. I'm going to share with you my experience from my own point of view. This is not affiliated with Gilman. They didn't ask me to do this. I'm doing this on my own as if I were supporting my students one-on-one. This is what I would tell them through that advising session. However, I figured, why not do a video and share it with a lot of people? So generally, what is the Gilman? Is a scholarship that enables students with limited financial means to study or intern abroad, providing them with skills critical to our national security and economic prosperity. The Institute of International Education has administered the program since 2001. So why Gilman? Why is it important? It helps students gain proficiency in diverse languages and cultures and skills that are critically important to their academic and career development. So this application cycle is due March 3rd of 2020. So you have a couple of days to submit it, and hopefully this will give you the push to submit it if you're still on the fence or if you're still working on the essays. This is kind of the time to really hone in on, okay, let's do this. So the Gilman is a congressionally funded program through the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs at the U.S. Department of State, and it is named after the late Congressman Benjamin A. Gilman from New York. So with his support, the program was established by the International Academic Opportunity Act of 2000. Shortly thereafter, in 2002, Congressman Gilman retired after serving in the House of Representatives for 30 years and chairing the House Foreign Relations Committee. And this is what he says about study abroad, which I think is at the core of the Gilman Scholarship and at the core that could help you through the application process. So study abroad is a special experience for every student who participates. Living and learning in a vastly different environment of another nation not only exposes our students to alternate views, but also adds an enriching social and cultural experience. It also provides our students with the opportunity to return home with a deeper understanding of their place in the world, encouraging them to be a contributor rather than a spectator in the international community. So this is really about being immersed in a culture and learning from other people and really going to this country that you choose to apply for and learn from them, their language, what they eat, how they dance, what art do they create, what books do they read, and really try to learn from their perspective how they view the world and how they connect to the world. And that informs how you perhaps shift your perspective on that country and shift your perspective on what it means to be a citizen of this world. So briefly, the Gilman Scholarship is for undergraduate students who want to study abroad. It provides up to $5,000 or $8,000, including the Critical Need Language Award. So how? It is through the Pell Grant. How are they going to determine? You have to be a Pell Grant recipient, which is federal aid through FAFSA that helps you pay for college, and it is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. Like I said, the deadline is March 3rd, and it is 11:59 Pacific time. And these grants are for summer 2020, fall 2020, academic year 2020-2021, winter 2021, and spring 2021. So it's important to get these essays done and really understand your follow-on project and your community essay that you need to write. So like I mentioned, the eligibility, all of the requirements are on their website, and you can find it here. And actually, I can open it for you to see it really quickly. So this is the Benjamin A. Gilman Award, and you can scroll through it. As you can see, it has everything you need: application overview, eligibility, essay, selection criteria, submission tips, deadlines and timeline, application facts. And this website has all the information you need. So if you want to do more research, if you don't know what this is about, or you need more information, please visit their website. Right? It gives you the essay guidelines, compose your essays in a Word document outside of the online application. So the overview is that there are 2 essays required as part of the Gilman Scholarship application: the Statement of Purpose essay and the Community Impact essay. For those applying to the Critical Need Language Award, an additional essay is required. I didn't apply to that one, so I don't know that additional requirement. I applied to just the regular one. So I completed the Statement of Purpose and the Community Impact essay, which talks about your follow-on project. There's some tips that I have learned through my experience in essay writing. And the writing and the essays is an exercise in really getting clear on your why. And why do you want to apply to this program? Why do you want to go abroad? Why do you want to go to this country? Why this program? How does it fit into your career choices and your next steps? And at the end of the essay, your reader should not say, "So what? So what do they want to go to abroad? Why do they want to do this?" in reference to your points and why you should get this scholarship. So I think it's really important to understand yourself, what you're studying, and what you want to accomplish with this fellowship and this grant and this scholarship. And really reflecting on that will inform your writing. Here is a little blurb of my own personal making critical thinking and solving any problems efficiently in Seville, Spain. The program I have chosen to do is Pablo de Olavide University, Spanish Language Business and Applied Social Sciences. The program offers social sciences classes that will fulfill my psychology major requirements, and in addition, the classes I will choose are all taught in Spanish. Also, there is integrated with Spaniards classes that I can take and will count towards my Spanish major requirements. This immersion with local students will impact my academic and future professional goals in leadership development and education. An important aspect of leadership development is the ability to critically examine oneself and then to apply those skills to help others. An international experience forms part of that process of self-discovery. This quest is not a finding is not of finding oneself, it is that of creating oneself. In traveling, I anticipate to discover and understand how other people perceive different situations. This international experience is a great way to learn the skill of networking with others. Every day there's an opportunity to meet new people and gain a worldview perspective of basic concepts such as trust, faith, and communication skills. So I hope to gain a deep understanding of the Spanish culture of rich history, language, and literature. So that's kind of an overview of my statement of purpose. And it was a little longer, of course, because there were various parts to the answer. However, I think that gets to the main point as to why I wanted to study abroad. You can learn so much in the classroom about architecture and literature, but going to the country where a lot of the literature I was reading and architecture I was seeing on presentations is different when you see it and feel it and are part of the country where it was created. There's a different energy to it. So for my follow-on project, I decided to prepare a presentation to give to local high school students with my friend, who was also a Gilman Scholar. And I presented presentations for Project Excel students, which is part of the TRIO Student Support Services program that I discussed earlier on. And there were three main parts to my project. Number one, I included essays and journal entries as a way to reflect on my experience. The actual in-person presentations to high school students and Project Excel students to expose them to study abroad, to get them excited about it and want to go, was part of the follow-on project that I developed. So here is just an example again of my essay and what I wrote. And I talked about what was Project Excel and TRIO to give a context as to who I was going to be speaking to. And I want to highlight this last part here, which talks about the crux of my experience. Most importantly, I want to connect with the students who have dreams and aspirations to study abroad and be a testament that hard work and dedication yields tremendous opportunities. Being a non-traditional and first-generation college student has shown me that there are many people in an organization that are willing to help in pursuing my dreams. So again, as a first-generation, non-traditional student from immigrant parents, I was brought up to really seek for opportunities in the United States and really see, okay, what can I do to not only help my community through this grant, but also what can I learn from this experience? And I was so excited to introduce this to the high school students in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where I went to do the follow-on project, and also Project Excel students. I shared with them my Gilman experience. So what is the importance of study abroad and why do we want to do it? I think the three main reasons why I wanted to do it for me was the cultural learning that you go through, understanding of oneself, of living and moving in another city, another world, another community, another language. Even though I speak Spanish at home, since my family's from Paraguay, Spain is different. And it was important for me to understand Spain as its own country and its own entity, and understand how they colonized South America and how that affected Paraguay and the Guaraníes and the mestizaje that existed and happened in Paraguay. I needed to understand Spanish history and culture in order to inform and understand who I am. Not only the Guaraníes, because that's part of Paraguayan culture, but also the Spaniards who colonized Paraguay. And that's part of me. So I needed to understand that on a cultural, personal level. That's why I really wanted to go to Spain. And then also generally understand how we fit in our society and the world as a whole. Here you see the pictures of Plaza de España, here with my roommates, and this was taken on the first day in Spain. We wanted to explore and see everything, and they're still some of my closest friends. So back at Fairfield, I brought this experience from Sevilla, and I was able to talk about cultural differences and experiences. And having been in Spain, I have a greater background on the history and could analyze literature in a different manner, in a different way. Senior year was all about research and analysis, not only of film, but literature. We read Carmen Laforet, Nada. And I think I was able to really analyze and connect to that piece because I lived in Spain. I even moved through spaces that the book takes place in. So that's a whole different context, a whole different experience. And also in Spanish literature, where we read about the Spanish Civil War, post-war, and the transition to democracy was my area of interest, and ultimately my thesis paper as an undergrad really informed my experience and made me so grateful for my experience in Spain, because I could have a different perspective in reading and analyzing these texts. And that's why I love to travel. That's why I love to meet new people and go abroad. So I have been forever changed for my experiences abroad in Australia and Spain. I lived in Paraguay for 4 years, and now recently in Brazil for 1 year on my Fulbright grant. And travel enriches your soul. It connects you to people, and it teaches you to become a citizen of the world and meet and understand yourself, but other people and how you move within those spaces. And then it gives you an opportunity and the ability to work with people who have different ideologies and different ways at approaching situations. Because you grew up a certain way, or I grew up a certain way in the United States, informs how I move in the world. So being abroad and learning from other people changes my perspective and broadens my perspective and my different horizons. And I have greater cultural awareness. And one of my favorite quotes is, "The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes." So I think this is a great paradox, because in the process of seeking new landscapes, we gain new views and new ways of seeing the world. I think it's my favorite, not because it says don't seek new landscapes, but it's because it's a paradox, and there's irony in that quote, because you can learn about the culture, different cultures in the world through reading and watching movies, and great, but in experiencing it in person, you really get to learn a deeper understanding of that culture. And I think that's why I love study abroad. I love traveling. I love meeting new people and reading different texts and authors and learning new languages. And why I chose to apply for the Fulbright grant to go to Brazil and learn a whole new language, Portuguese. So here you see Puente de Triana, which was one of our favorite bridges. And this is a sunset by the river where we used to sit and watch the sunset almost every day. We tried to do that to really soak it all in. And seeing this picture just, again, brings back all those emotions with Sevilla. And it's truly a magical city, and I loved it. And here's my friend Amanda and I and our day trip to Macarena, which is close to where we lived, and we could walk there. We took the bus, I think that day, but we can get there often. There were great churros in that area. So I really enjoyed my time in Sevilla, and I could not thank the Gilman Scholarship and the Gilman Grant more for that. I'm truly humbled. It was in spring 2013. We're in 2020, and I'm still talking about it and still grateful. So if you want to apply, please apply. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. And these are the different ways that you can connect with me. You can email me at delicia.alarcon@fulbright.org, at delilingo.com. Check out my resources and what I can do to support you. On social media, find me at Delilingo and Deli the Explorer, and subscribe to YouTube. Delilingo, I'll bring a lot of content just like this, and hopefully this was helpful for you and encourage you to apply for the Gilman Scholarship. Again, check out their website. They have great resources, and they are super helpful, and do it. You can do it. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.